Corruption, grew up around cussing. We learned from our cousins how to give a concussion, handle a gun when bussin', and how not to fear nothing. We never learned a budget, so we never had nothing. Spirit of Caesar, teaching of Jesus. Live for the people.
We finally made it, man. We finally made it to this little interview, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. First, before we go any further, man, I just want to say, I appreciate you for, making this thing work, putting this together. Like I said, your aesthetic goes perfect with, what I'm trying to put out there. As you know, the theme of, the Be Revolutionary production is to shed light on young black men like ourselves, to profile them, to see just how they're being revolutionary at what they do. So, I knew you since high school days, Park Center, shout out Park Center. I always knew you to be this fly cat, playing soccer and stuff. So let's talk about that. How did you get into, fine art, fashion? How did that peak for you?
Environment, growing up in an African home, like fashion is everything, style is everything. Colorful clothes, going to an event every time. So basically my environment really contributed a lot in my style and my eye and vision for fashion or not. My parents are African, specifically from Nigeria, but I was born and raised in Europe. So it's just like, as I say, two bombs in one place. So it's like I had European vibe and the African vibe in one place. So it's just like, boom, an explosion. So that really contributed a lot in my passion for fashion, creativity, style, and everything around it.
So what are you trying to do with, let's talk about, your style and stuff like that. Your style, I mean, you spoke on a little bit, with your cultural influence, but where do you get your inspiration from, or what do you base your style upon? Do you have any fashion or artistic icons you like?
I would say my icon will always be Kanye West. Kanye is like a big fuel, big gas, electricity in my whole brand, style, everyday living. So Kanye West is an icon to me, but I've always had my own brand to maintain. So as Kanye West, I have his own brand to maintain.
Right.
But my big icon will be Kanye West.
So you can tell Kanye West right now, if you want to work with him, look at the camera and tell Kanye West you want to work with him. Be revolutionary. Make sure you invite me too.
No problem. We'll find something to squeeze ourselves in with Kanye West, but definitely.
That's dope, man. I definitely think you got a dope ass style and shit.
I really appreciate it.
So let's kind of switch gears and things like that, because a part of, being a young black man is everything that is associated with that, that comes with our society. I mean, you're from Italy, you like I told you before, you one of the first black person I ever met from Italy. You from Naples, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, I look at it as, for the most part too, as a universal struggle. I mean, yeah, it's hard being a black man in the United States of America, but it seems like everywhere you look around, it's hard to be a young black man.
Definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about what do you think is the greatest misconception of particularly young black men?
As a young black man, we have a lot of weight on ourselves. We have a lot to carry on. It goes from stereotype, media, history, one-sided history. Just being black is like a lot to take on. And that's what makes us unique, because through all of that weight that we have to carry, we always find a way to succeed. We always find a way to be heard. We do all of this by ourselves. As much the world don't want us to be great, we're gonna be great. So that's a big part of being a black person. Like anywhere you go, you're always gonna be black, no matter what. You can't hide it. It stands out. Even if you are anywhere, being black stands out. You can't, like, there's nothing to do about it, but just to accept it that we are black, young black men, and we are creating a lot of waves. So just keep, like, all I can say as being a black person, we have to strive and always strive for the best and not accepting the norm. Create healthy noise, make sure we're heard, make sure we do everything we can to just, we can't clean the stereotype because stereotype is going to be there forever, but at least stand out of it. That's the most we can do.
So speaking of standing out and things like that, how are you standing out, or more specifically, how are you being revolutionary at what you do, your fashion, all of your interests and things like that?
That definitely makes a good point. Like my style, my brand, my everyday living set a tone to being a standout person. Me having a vision, being creative, stand out. Not just because like I'm doing something because I want to be the cool guy, but just doing something that I know I have passion for, knowing that it's my everyday call. Like I don't sleep. I'm constantly creating mood boards and I'm constantly creating things to feel like keep my mind going. So basically being a creative as a black person is definitely a big point because you can be heard in different ways, in a different way of communication.
Just give you an extra weapon to break outside that box.
Thank you.
That society trying to put us in. Right?
And and that's why like creativity like is my weapon. It's our weapon to show the world like that's not what it is. It's what it is.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So if you can tell the world one thing about Valentino and all of your revolutionary exploits and what you're trying to do with your fashion and things like that, what is one thing the world should know about Valentino?
A lot, but none, I guess. One thing could be independent, revolutionary. One thing.
Or three.
Oh, three? Okay. I would say never accepted the everyday living. I always want to dig deeper. I always want something beyond my everyday living. That's basically it. Like what really pushes me is not settling.
Not settling.
Not settling. Not letting your environment paint who you are, but make who you are.
Right.
That's it.
So is that, I mean, because I remember we spoke, off camera or off interview about, you was talking why, you was talking about why being a huge part. Would you say that's the why? Talk to me a little bit more. I know I said, final, but
yeah,
I want you to elaborate more about what you was talking about the why driving you and stuff like that.
Yeah. Why is like my big, anytime like I have, like let's say you have a diagram, the why is like my main part. From the why comes everything else. Anytime me and my team, Emwin Couture, put out a visual or create a visual, we always want everybody else to understand or actually question himself like why? Why two black men are doing this? Or why two black guys are dressed up this way? Why? And as much you can ask yourself why, you're already creating a revolution. Me and you are already creating a revolution by you.
It starts with that question. Why?
Starting that question, me giving you this visual on Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media network that you see my work. And you're like, why? That already sparks up a revolution. Imagine my other, let's say, 10,000 followers seeing that. That's like 10,000 people that have seen my work and asking themselves why.
Why?
So that's already a big mass of a revolution right there. So my main point is to ask yourself why. And then from there we can actually tell you because this is what it is. So That's it.
So I probably won't even have to ask this, but do you consider yourself a revolutionary?
Everyone should consider himself a revolutionary. Every black person should consider himself a revolutionist because we have a lot now at least actually on our back to carry on. So every black person in anywhere in the world, in each corner of the world, is a revolutionist.
Okay.
Because they have a lot to prove and a lot to give and a lot to show
And a lot to change.
and a lot to change.
A lot to change.
Way too much to change.
A lot to change.
And then we are changing a lot of things, even though the media don't want to show that part, but we are changing a lot.
Well, we showing that part. Well, young guys like you, we showing that part. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
All right, man. Don't be good, be revolutionary.